Mike, it's Tuesday. How are you?
I'm fine for a Tuesday.
I'm glad to hear it. Tuesdays are good for us, though. Tuesday is the best day of the week because that's the day that Pop Culture SquadCast Live comes at you.
It ends quite well.
It
ends quite well.
That's fair.
But in these troubled times, getting through the day sometimes can be difficult.
Well, you could just DoorDash some McDonald's, and it makes everything better.
Did you see the interviews with that woman, with the delivery woman? I get the feeling she wasn't a supporter.
No, she's a paid supporter. She's been on other.
Really?
They've brought her around to other things, not as a DoorDasher, but like somebody talking on Capitol Hill last year. She's not
no
new.
kidding.
This was not an actual delivery. This was all a setup.
Yeah, I know that part because they would have shot her if she was actually delivering hamburgers. They would have shot her long before she got anywhere near the place. But it sounded like, what she wouldn't say. She said that, she didn't want to comment about transgender. She didn't want to, say whether she voted for him. I didn't get that. She seemed like not a supporter.
Well, listen. Apparently,
maybe not anymore.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
In these days and times, as you mentioned, there is news today, and we're going to talk about it. Something after your own heart. Today, it was announced the 2026 inductees into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Have you seen the list?
Yes, I did briefly see the list.
Well, we're going to talk about it just for a second. It's a good list. I think I haven't gone through to find out where the snubs are. I'm sure there are plenty. But this is the list of members of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame being inducted this year. Phil Collins, who was already Genesis is already in, so this is his second time in. Billy Idol, Iron Maiden, Joy Division, New Order, which I always found weird. This is not the first time that they have been nominated, but they are nominated in that fashion.
Yeah.
Oasis.
That's a little odd. Yeah.
What?
That's a little odd.
It is, but they it's like, I don't know. They've always nominated them in that way. Oasis, which is having a renaissance of the day, and Sade.
No, they got back together, kind of. That's not.
Well, they wanted to make some more money.
Yes. Well, that'll do it.
Sade, Luther Vandross, and the Wu-Tang Clan. Wu-Tang forever. That's what I have to say.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a couple there that I would take issue with.
Sure.
And maybe fewer this year than on average. What we all do is focus on the ones that have been left out.
Well,
but here's the thing. You leave them out and everybody says, well, you put Oasis in here when you didn't have Jeff Buckley, which
or NXS.
But Oasis and Jeff Buckley is such a natural transition. Of course, everybody who voted for Oasis would have voted for Jeff, for crying out loud.
Sure.
So it's
it's funny because I also thought Jeff might have a shot, considering there was a documentary about his life that just came out in the past 6 months, I think, or so. That seems pretty interesting.
I was a big fan of his father's.
I believe you. I
went out to see him a couple times.
His father, you said?
Yeah.
Anyway, here's the big. We're going to talk about this. So we're talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If you're new to the paying attention, we are talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The big snub or controversy is that there is a fan voting process that gets weighed into this situation, and by far and away the most votes by fans, over 1 million votes, was for New Edition.
Really?
And New Edition was not included in the list.
I noticed that.
It's fine. It's New Edition. Listen, I was the people who should have been listening to New Edition when New Edition was being New Edition, and I'm fine with them not being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, let me tell you, having had many a run-in during my broadcast career, and having with the rock and roll industry, and having produced a couple of albums, that sort of thing, all thousands of years ago. Let me tell you this: the weird thing about the rock and roll business is that you take a bunch of really nice people. I was going to say nice guys because that's the way it used to be. There's a couple women in there now. You take a bunch of nice people and you put them together and you force them to spend all their time covering their ass so they turn into a united group of monsters. And you'd never want to do business in the rock and roll business again.
That's fair. That's fair. Folks who are listening, we've been talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, which happened today. Go to any decent news outlet, you'll find the list of winners. We've talked about them. If you're new here, this is the Pop Culture SquadCast. I'm Bob Harrison. This is Mike Gold. We're here every Tuesday night talking about pop culture, comics, mostly other stuff. Tonight, we're going to spend our little bit of our opening dialogue talking about not comics.
Pop culture.
But we do have a guest. We do have a pair of guests joining us. They're back for another go at this. The creators of the Olympian have the Olympian issue number 2 currently kickstarting, and since Paul Eza has something kickstarting, he's going to be on the Pop Culture SquadCast. That's how it goes. Besides the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame news, I wanted to talk about another piece of news that's out there. What's currently CinemaCon is going on in Las Vegas. It's a big event for movie retailers, movie house retailers, or cinemas. And there was some interesting news that was stated, and I wanted your opinion on it. So Tom Rothman, who's the chairman and CEO of Sony Pictures, took the stage, and he said, admissions are clearly down from pre-COVID, and we have urgent work to do. For our part, that means delivering a variety of great films to all kinds of audience. But you, my friends, the retailers, have an urgent part to play. What he said is get rid of the endless advertising and substantially shorten the long pre-shows that some, not all of you, have. Get off the ad track.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm used to those grand movie palaces of my youth, and I still pine for them. But the fact of the matter is, we go to those little places, beautiful as they were, and maybe if they weren't like in a big, busy area, there'd be a double bill, and there'd be a cartoon or two in between the two movies. They'd repeat the A picture at the end. That's why the B picture was called a B picture. It was the one in the middle. And we had no advertisements at all. None. Some theaters, only a couple that I can recall, had those old curtains with the ads on the side, and I noticed
ads on the sides of the curtains. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, and some of them were even current. It wasn't like 1918 or something. It was ads for apothecaries. If they had it today, we'd have weed ads in the theaters. And I'm not opposed to that either, except for the fact that if I'm going to pay you, I don't know, what is it now, $30 to get into a movie theater and another $150 for some popcorn? If I'm going to start paying that kind of money, I don't want no fucking commercials.
It has gotten, I think, over the last 7 to 8 years, I would say, has gotten just shocking at the amount of time that you do spend. So he's got a point. I mean, he does have a point that you show up to a movie for a 7:30 movie, that movie's not starting until 8:00.
Right.
You know, you're going to start, you know, around 7:30ish. They'll start with, you know, bringing down the pre-show, and then start giving you some commercials, and then some 8 previews, and then some more commercials, and then they'll tell you to be quiet.
Now, that used to be the best part of the theater experience on some nights, where, like, usually this Coca-Cola would produce these incredibly elaborate, you know, drink Coke during the movie, but shut the hell up. and they were beautiful. The animation work was marvelous. I really liked those, but that we didn't see that as a commercial. That was sort of a sponsored public service announcement.
Commercial.
Well, I've produced public service announcements, so I tend not to go there.
You're ignoring the drink Coke part. That they were telling you.
That's okay. Better that than the sublims, because they provide a service. If you speak during the commercial, Mike might beat the shit out of you.
Well, that's
now I was younger then, but I thought that was a lovely public service. Saved me so much energy.
That's fair. I want to, before we get to our guests really quickly, I want to remind everybody that if you're watching this, subscribe, like, whatever, so you can get notifications that we are going to be live. We will be live next week. Next week, we're going to have a great trio of guests talking about another new Kickstarter that's currently out there. We'll talk about real life comics, a New York story or something like that. We'll talk about it more next week with Dean Haspiel and Eli Schwab and Doug.
You can always tell the Baltimore guy in the crowd.
Or
something.
It's like,
something like that. Yeah.
Like, listen, it's good. It's going to be great. I can't wait for it. We'll talk about that next week. So we're going to be here next Tuesday to talk about that. We have guests lined up throughout. We're into June. Every Tuesday night, be here. We've had a couple of Thursdays over the past week. I don't have too many of those scheduled over the next month or so. But every Tuesday, 8:00 Eastern, 5 Pacific, we're going to be here. We're going to be talking about comics and other cool stuff. And I want to bring in our guests.
Whoa. Before we bring them in, hang on a second, guys. Just one more thing. A week from Saturday.
Yes.
Please.
Well, we get, the good part is, I'll tell you very much for Mike and I and everyone else, is that we will get double Dean in a week. So next week, we're going to be here on Tuesday night. But then next Saturday and Sunday, Mike and I will be up in Ithaca, New York at Ithacon number 49. There'll be panels, 49. There'll be signings. Bring your copies of every First Comics in the world and whole bunches of DC comics. Go find all Mike's comics, bring them to him. He'll love to sign them. His hand will get all hurt and crimpled up. We want that.
I have never turned down a signature request for free, although we do appreciate the donations to charity.
We are going to be taking donations for Hero Initiative at the show.
For Hero Initiative, I'm sure we will. And that's wonderful. But if you hand me a book that I really didn't work on, I'll tell you so, and very politely, I'll sign the name of whomever it is who did work on it.
Well, yeah, that's always the fun part. And don't forget, Sherry will be there as well. So she'll be and we'll have a great time. So Ithaca, New York, at Ithaca, on the beautiful campus of Ithaca College. Next week, Ithacon will be there. The following week, on Tuesday, we will recap our efforts and have a nice conversation with Jeff Parker. So that'll be another good Tuesday. So thank you for reminding me, Mike. As I was about to say, I'm very happy to have these two back. Paul is a good friend of mine, and for full disclosure, I edited issue 1. I'm editing issue 2 of this book that we're about to be talking about. But regardless of that, these are some fantastic comic book creators. We're going to talk about what they're doing and how they're doing it. And
regardless of that,
regardless of my involvement,
you didn't screw them up.
That's fair. I hope so. We're going to welcome in Paul Eza and D-Fish. Hey guys, welcome back.
Hello.
Boy.
All right, so let's.
Gee, I love the mood lighting. That's wonderful.
It does look.
The light doesn't work up there anymore, so I just have a bunch of little string lights stretched around, plugged into stuff.
And that works. You can work that way.
That's great.
I don't do any drawing in here after dark.
Okay, that's very.
I can change the color.
No. Okay. Oh.
Ooh.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. Before we get too far along the way, why are you wearing a? I don't know what you're wearing, Paul. What is that you're wearing? Is that a? What is on your shoulder?
What had happened was, I thought it was pirate night on the ship. It wasn't.
It is not pirate night.
But here I am in my full garb. And, why not?
So every night should be pirate night if you're on a ship. And you, I don't know if we've established this, are on a ship. You're floating on water right now. Wow.
I'm not personally. I'm on the thing that's floating on water.
Yeah, sure.
So Paul is coming to us live from somewhere in the Atlantic, I believe.
Technically the Caribbean, I think.
Well, it was really warm up here. You should.
And you are live with us from very, very far away, and we appreciate that. All right, let's start talking about the Olympian. Issue 2. Issue 1 was fantastic. It did super well. I was very happy to share it with people, and I got great responses from it. We're now back with issue 2. How has the work for you guys gone? And we're going to get into the Olympian, but I want to ask this question first. How is it with you guys? You got one issue under your belts together. You're now back at issue 2. How is that relationship and that creative process worked for you guys? Is it gotten to a point where it gets smoother and simpler? Is it not? Is it just as
D hates me.
Collaborative? What?
D hates me now. It's
Oh my gosh, the script is so horrible to work with. That's why I keep adding panels. It's horrid. I find the process is really easy. I've known Paul for a while. We talked about my process with things, and it's like, I send him roughs, and if sometimes they'll be like, I think I just did a page where the script, I sent the concept for the page, and it was like, it was roughed out at something like 4 panels, and I'm like, here's 7, but here's why.
Listen, so let's be fair about this. I've seen the script. I haven't seen all of the pencils, but I'm glad to hear that.
I like character beats. I like, making sure that, if there's a change of mood from one panel to the next. We need to see that. We need to see the tension build, or the expressions, or the reactions to people saying stuff. So sometimes if there's a paragraph that's got a couple of periods in it, I might break that and show, hey, this could work on 3 panels because each one has a different emotional beat. And that's the kind of stuff I love doing in storytelling, making sure that, if you took the words off, you could generally still follow what's happening through the emotions and the acting. And Paul leaves me a lot of room to work with that, and was never been an issue. You know, we talk back and forth, and it's all about making the final book just as good as it can be.
And that's why one of the reasons
it's one of the. Okay.
All quiet.
It's going to be tough.
All quiet.
Okay. That is the reason why you're so good at doing humor. You understand the timing. I don't know if it's natural or you learned it or both, but nonetheless, you know the timing. You know how to pace a joke. And if you can paint jokes on a 6-panel page or whatever, 4 panels, you know a lot more about pacing. Now, every week, somewhere along the SquadCast, I will babble, hey, look, it's a visual storytelling medium. And that's what wags the dog. So when I hear an artist say, well, yeah, I broke that down a little differently than the way the writer wrote it, I'm thinking, okay, that's your job. Good for you.
Yeah.
I know Paul can be intimidating.
I did a lot. I mean, I did some studying with animation, definitely trying to work on getting the pacing going. And then just a lot of studying of artists who just nail it, who just can either drag a scene out for just the right amount of Jeff Smith's a great example to me, because he can, linger on an expression or do something like cut immediately to stupid rat creatures and punch it that much funnier. And there's that, that Charles Schultz Peanuts silent third panel that was so common, where there would be that just quiet beat of nothing happening. And the joke is not funny if there's no third panel.
That's right.
If 100%. You have that third panel where they're pondering it just before they say something, then they're thinking, they're alive. And readers, I think, respond to seeing that kind of a life in a character. So I always try to get that pacing as fitting to the story as possible. And I mean, doesn't matter what genre it is, in a sense, they're all gags. It's like horror film directors will constantly refer to kills as gags for that same reason.
That's right. That's right. Any stunt is a gag. And every gag is really a stunt. So that works for me.
Paul, you were going to say something.
All those things Dee said are the reasons that I wanted to work with her.
There you go.
I know she is much better at that than I am now, and way better than when we started this. So I would be an idiot not to listen to her advice when she says, I think this needs an extra beat or less of a beat or something along those lines.
The art job controls the timing. The writer can establish, the bounds for that, but the shape, the frequency of the panels, the balloon placements to get your eye from one place to another, it's all visual, and that's why we call this a visual storytelling medium. So you need. Whoa, we just lost Paul. God, I hope
he's here.
Oh, okay. He drowned and feels so
he's
bad.
We're
That's
maximizing
right.
his
that's the
visual.
porthole of the boat.
Yeah, he's in the porthole.
Yeah, there's a guy there with a little sign,
No, it's 100% right. I want to for people who are not familiar with the Olympian, I want to bring them up to speed. And before I have you guys do that, let's see what the trailer has to say about this. So let's do this.
Tell me, Vasilis Meyer, how you came to possess the talisman of Olympus. And tell me why one of your ilk should be allowed to keep it.
Enough!
I told you, Asterian. He's the one.
Well,
Right.
I love this. I love this story. Paul, why don't you give us a quick synopsis for people who aren't familiar with the Olympian? What is it about?
Sure. So the Olympian follows a young man named Vasilis Meyer, lives in a small town in New Hampshire, the exact quiet life you would expect from somebody who's grown up and lived in this town his whole life. He's got the same group of friends he's had since he was a kid. Everyone knows everyone. Everyone knows their families. And then while he's cleaning out his grandparents' attic, he discovers this little marble circular thing that he thinks has a carving of what he thinks is like the Parthenon that looks like something they got from their honeymoon in Greece years and years ago. It's that thing.
Oh, nice. Nice. That's a nice.
Turns out it's not just a souvenir, and it allows him to channel the powers of the Greek gods. So, am I still here? Okay. All right.
Just spotlighting
it allows him to channel the powers of the Greek gods. So now he has to figure out what's going on. How do I use this thing? What's going on? What the hell is going on with this? Why can I suddenly do these things? All while being tracked down by a minotaur. So that's kind of where we left off at the end of issue 1, and issue 2 picks up right where we leave off, as is kind of alluded to in the trailer. And as we get into issue 2, we're going to learn more about the talisman, more about Vasilis, and watch as he kind of grapples with this choice of, number one, what is the life that I want to live now that I know that this thing is here and what it can do, and how do I keep the people I love safe from this world of monsters that's been under our feet the whole time, and I know I can never tell anyone about. And that's where we're going in issue 2 and beyond.
Sounds great to me. I'm a big fan of it. D, as you get further along in the story, issue 2 really requires some special, crafting from your perspective in terms of the design of what Vasilis is going to be wearing and things like that. How did you work that out? What was that experience like in terms of designing this costume for this superhero?
Paul and I worked out the concept for the costume way before we started on any pages for the first issue. We did a bunch of different concept sketches. I took for the there were certain other comics that Paul referenced as kind of touch points and elements that he wanted. Like the blue cape in particular. That we designed the symbol on the pendant first, and so using the Parthenon's, the peak of the Parthenon's, whatchamacallit, I don't know the architectural term. So that's where a lot of the design on the chest comes from, where there's the point up there. But then I put the radiant fingers, it was 5 fingers coming up, and I haven't done superhero stuff in a long time, so it was a lot of fun to flex those muscles and get around with that kind of stuff. Seriously, as opposed to doing it in parody purposes or something like I would do for Finding D.
Yeah. Paul, can I share the superhero reveal?
Which page are you talking about? One of the pages, or are you talking about the variant?
One of the pages.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So this is what we're talking about, right? This is the hey, what am I wearing here? And I love the costume. I absolutely do love the costume. I enjoy the way you did the cape. One of the things about this book, as it gets completed, is the synergy that writer and artist have, I couldn't have, again, I'm a little biased, but the each of you is bringing so much to this story, to this product, that these humor in the background and things that are going on, and just the high quality of the pencils and inks, combined with this very interesting story that Ball's put out, and good dialogue and everything else that goes along with it. It keeps getting better. I'm proud to be part of it, and I hope everybody else gets a chance to look at it.
Me too.
One of the cool things about tape is that they don't work in real life. But then again, nor do superheroes. So if we're going to marry the two, if that's part of the image of some superheroes and supervillains and all of that, have fun with it. Make it part of your overall artistic statement, but also use it as a dramatic storytelling device.
Oh, capes
just
are
little. They're wonderful. I mean, look at any good issue of Doctor Strange, which is a great many, quite frankly. The cape wins.
Yep.
So when I saw that panel just now, I was thinking like, yeah, that's a comic book cape. That's it. That's it. That's great.
It's capes and hair is one of the greatest ways you can show motion on a static page.
Right.
You see that, and you know that means there's some, and also with his, because it's a lighter color, darker bodysuit, it allows me to frame him in shots too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. I'm really looking forward to this thing.
Thanks.
Thing. I call it a thing.
It's a good thing. So we are we're at Olympian on the Kickstarter campaign. Let's talk about the campaign just a little bit. There are backer rewards for people who missed issue 1, but it's essentially issue 2. And I'll share this back in. Here we go. Let's get this back. So what is it? What have you learned from issue 1 in terms of the Kickstarter, of things you wanted to add? Is there anything you said, hey, I need to readjust this when we're going to come to issue 2 and the Kickstarter there?
So for me, the one thing that I got from issue 1, and I'm always trying new things on Kickstarters because I'm certainly no expert. I'm not one of these creators who's out there putting out 6 a year and living off of what I make off of Kickstarter. So I'm trying things, and the one thing that really hit with people last year were those coins, the one that Dee showed with the talisman. And so I think I've decided that that's going to be one of the things that we have for each issue of this series is a coin, same size, and this time we're highlighting Asterion.
Right here. Right here. So this is one of the options right here.
Right. So that's going to be an add-on, and it's included with some of the bundled tiers. This is the first time, as we're getting down to the T-shirt, the first time I've offered a T-shirt because I think they're cool designs, and I think other people like them too. And that's they're really cool, aren't they? let me know what size you guys want. Yeah, you're on the comp list for T-shirts, so let me know.
Right.
Wow.
Hey, I mean, so this is what the 4th time you guys have had me on. It's truly the least I can do.
Hey,
whoa! Look at that.
Who is that? I don't know about that guy.
He looks kind of scary.
Well, listen, there's plenty of different options, right? So there's digital, there's physical copies, there's issue 1, issue 2, lots of different options. The campaign runs. Let's get this on there. We're good till Friday, May 8th. So there's 3 weeks left. Is that right?
We're a little more than 3 weeks. Yeah.
All right. We need to move this up. We need to get this higher. What is it that you're going to tell somebody about the Olympian that's going to make? What is the thing that if someone was talking to you, you would want to hear to make you back the Olympian?
I mean, I just want to hear what a cool story it is, but that's just me.
It's a really cool story.
But I think what you can say is you've got a unique story, and it does, of course, touch on some common elements that have been through other stories, but it's told in a very unique way. You've got stellar art, stellar colors. I love the colorist we've got on this as well. And as far as backing the Kickstarter and getting it going now, look, the more backers we get here, the faster you get the rest of the story. We're going to finish the story, but if you want it quicker, get all of your friends who love comics to come back this, so that we don't have to worry about getting things funded and getting people paid and drawing things out while the finances work themselves out. Because when we do these, and I think I've put this in the Kickstarter, we're, what are we, about 16 or 18 pages into the 22 pages, D?
Something like that.
So we're almost done with the writing and the art, with the colors and of course, obviously some tweaks will always follow once you put it all together. Yep. But most of it's done. But it's still the issue of I view these as the Kickstarters as a bare minimum as printing and shipping costs. That's, I'm not setting it as a $10,000 minimum because I know I'm going to make this. I know we want to make this. I'm basically like trying to raise the funds to print the comics, to ship the comics, and to have a few left over to send to those wonderful people who are involved in helping it get made, and to maybe bring some to conventions here and there.
Well, that's a good idea. I mean, to bring some to conventions, because that'll help promote the next issue.
Right, and I'm starting to do more of those. I'm still not quite there with some of the bigger shows, but I just did a convention last weekend. It was a 1-day Saturday show near home. It was a pretty decent, it's a fun show, pretty decent 1-day show, exactly what you'd expect it to be. And I'm doing a few more of those and a few slightly bigger ones, finally going out of the state of Florida and making it up to New Hampshire in September, for Granite State Comic Con.
Nice.
I figure the comics set in New Hampshire might have some draw there. But beyond that, it's, we're trying to get these done as quickly as possible so that people can get that whole story in their hands.
The nice thing about your sort of growing into the larger conventions is that you have the opportunity in the smaller shows to refine your technique. I mean, it's not that you're selling to people, you're making friends and explaining to them why this is cool. That's a different sort of selling. It's called honesty. And when you're working a convention from that side of the table, you got to know what you're doing, because there's a billion people out there, and everybody's attention span is really short, and they're already pissed that they're not in the 2-mile-long line for Mark Waid. I mean, Mark gets such long lines, he couldn't even, if he was late, he couldn't even get into the building. But it's good to be able to work that out, so that by the time you hit the really big shows, which take an enormous amount of stamina and energy, you know what you're doing.
That's
yeah
fair.
And I don't, and I'm terrible at that part. Start bringing Dee to some of these shows with me.
Yeah, that's fair.
But no, I'm learning. I'm still, like I say, I'm still not comfortable with it. I'm still not great at it, but just like you say, trying to be honest and genuine and hopefully a few people chat with me and pick up the comic and decide they like it.
Right. That's how it works.
It's a mythologically inspired superhero with a talking squirrel and a very angry minotaur. What?
Well,
No.
listen. I listen, D. I need you to pay attention, because see, you'll have to let me know so that I can put this up when it's time.
I think you just did.
But my question to you about Tiny Squirrel, not so much the squirrel, but in general, there are so many characters in this book, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It is a full story with a full cast. There is our lead character. There are his, immediate assistants. There is his family that he deals with. There are his friends that he deals with. And this is just in 2 issues. I'm sure, as we move forward, there will be even more antagonists and how things go. But what is your favorite character to draw, D, in this book?
Oh, that would definitely be the Minotaur Asterion. I love drawing.
Okay.
I voiced him in the trailer.
Okay.
I was going to
wondering.
ask. That was a nice job.
So what is about Asterion that you enjoy?
The size of him, like just utilizing his size and his dimensions. I go nuts on the rendering with him. I really, really enjoy drawing the heck out of him. It's, the costume is fairly minimal for him. So it's, it's just like the fur coming down the arms. I love drawing the horns. I don't know. There's nothing I don't like drawing about him. I like figuring out how to get different expressions other than just rage on that face.
Oh, that's 100% fair.
Because sometimes there's, he's got some different ones where it's just, it's like he's got some range in there, and trying to get that across on a face like that is a lot of fun.
He's mostly angry. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, he's very he's
Cranky.
got that Klingonian anger going on.
Being a Minotaur's got to be a bitch. I can get that.
I mean, you're always getting probably like hitting your horns on the way in the door and stuff like that. I mean,
well, if it's a maze, you're hitting your horns on everything. At least I do.
Yeah.
So Paul, I want to ask you the same question. Which character do you like to write? Would you like to voice? Do you want to tell their story?
So I think it's a little bit harder on my end, because they're all like, to me, like they all have a very specific and unique purpose in the story, and I love them all for it. Miko the squirrel is a lot of fun, just because it gets to be kind of that, sarcastic,
He's
almost like a sarcastic Yoda.
He's Oberon.
Yes. But I also enjoy writing the parts with Facilis and his friends.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I feel like, in some, you've got a little bit of tension there from a couple different angles, but you also have sort of, just like any old friend group, anytime there is that tension, it seems like somebody just feels like they have to break it. They have to break the tension somehow. And it feels very just fun and natural. And it seems like a good way to still bring serious points in, but also make it interesting and make it somewhat fun.
I definitely will back you up on that. I think you do a really good job with that, because as you're telling a story that has massive superpowers and high stakes and near death experiences, the timing, particularly of when you come back to the friend group, is important and accurate. And what you have in that friend group is very it's very comforting to the reader, I think, because it's for people who haven't seen it, it's very much like the scenes in How I Met Your Mother or Friends or something where everybody's just kind of like together in a restaurant, and it's a place where they know and it's just comfortable, or Cheers even, and where you're just they're just kind of like feeding off of each other in ways that are very comforting to everyone there. Even if they're bickering, they're still comforting ways of expressing each other.
Yeah, and that's I hadn't even thought about it, but you're right. I think that there is a lot of the How I Met Your Mother feel to it. It's been years since I actually watched that, but I did enjoy it quite a bit when I did. So maybe that's just it's somewhere in the subconscious there.
Oh yeah.
One of those many, many subconscious influences that I think we all have whenever we're creating.
Subconscious, but I see them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're great. There's nothing wrong about that. Let's be clear to everyone here that everyone has influences and they show up, and I'm constantly excited to say, oh, this is good. And then when you question why is it good, you wonder where does that come from? And sometimes it's oh, this reminds me of this, and that's why it's good there. Usually that's the case. It's like, oh, this is the point that reminds me of this particular thing that I like, and it's appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you do a good job with that.
When you're in a creative writing class, the first thing they teach you, or they try to teach you, is to write from your own experiences. And that's true. I mean, authenticity is critical, and we need to know that the author has a clue what they're talking about. But the fact of the matter is, it's not that applicable in some comics, and certainly in superhero comics, for the obvious reason that none of that stuff actually happens. So
you haven't seen the squirrels in my neighborhood.
Yeah, you put in as much verisimilitude as you can because you want the reader to be part of to be involved in the story, and also because you want to be more involved in the story. And the best part is that isn't even necessarily a conscious process. That's what you do as a storyteller.
Yep. Well, it's part of that is I think it's best typified in like that Spider-Man description of, no, none of us can pick up a car and throw it or swing on webs or any of that stuff, but we all know what it is to have problems with bills and get sick and get no respect in school, work, whatever. And, we have our different things that we do, and how do they both benefit and get in the way of your everyday life? So it's taking that real world experience and expanding it just enough to still be recognizable, even within the superpowered.
Right. It can stand out better in a superpower type story, in a superhero story, because it's actually contrast. Reality is contrast. A thought I just fell in love with, but that's how it works. It's like, wait a moment, Spider-Man has the flu and he's going to sneeze into his mask. Okay, when that first happened, I read that because I read that when it was released, and that just changed my entire worldview. Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, if he gets sick swinging around like that, or has the flu or what have you, he could kill himself. None of that had to be stated. It was all essentially wrapped up in a joke.
Yeah, or even, I mean, those earlier issues were secondhand for me. I was reading reprints when I discovered them, but little things like his costume is not insulated, and New York gets very cold.
It does, and it can get very humid too, and that's something I've always wondered. It's like there. Okay, forgive me here, but Harvey Kurtzman and Will Eldridge did this series for Help magazine that Harvey ran called Goodman and Beaver. And in one episode, they're brilliant. In one episode, Goodman meets Superman. And Superman is retired, and he's a surfer. And Goodman tracks him down, and Superman is walking over to the outhouse, and he asks Goodman to hold his surfboard. And Goodman's response was, "You mean Superman goes to the bathroom?" Well, yeah, that's what satire is all about. I never really considered that before. Beautiful
that's
stuff.
what fan fiction's for.
Yeah, well, the fan fiction will get a little more into detail.
There's a lot of detail.
Yeah.
But this isn't fan fiction. Like, that's the cool part. Like, you're making your own thing here. You're making your own comic. This is, we're now in issue 2 of a 5-issue story. You're already funded. We just need to bring that funding number up. What can you tell people about what comes next after this issue?
All right. So obviously trying not to give away too much from, what happens in issue 2 and beyond, but
the story doesn't end. We know that much.
The story does not end, right? This is a little bit of a spoiler, but he does get out of that situation at the very beginning with the Minotaur.
Sure.
Otherwise, it would be a very short issue.
Well, you save on printing.
But from there,
screw that. You'd save on time. You'd save a lot of time.
The one clue I think I will give for down the line, and Bob, you mentioned it, and I don't know if this was intentional or just spitballing, but you mentioned different and bigger and badder antagonists as we go, and
I've read the script.
You have, that's true, through issue 2.
Listen, I know.
So one of the things that people might have picked up on in issue 1 is, besides the Greek mythology that we very clearly establish is real in this world, there is also a hint dropped of Native American mythology that is real in this world, which then leads to various other mythologies that may be real in this world. And that leads to lots of potential conflicts and lots of potential directions that we could take Vasilis in order to expand the story and really put him to the test.
Sounds fantastic. I'm vote for 60 issues. We'll just go for Why the Last Man numbers.
I was gonna say, let's get through 5 first, and then
Right. Yeah. Get that trade out first.
We're getting there.
Trust me. If there are people that want 60 issues of this, I'm sure we can make it happen. I'm not sure D can take too many more of those church scenes, but
if
the church page is gorgeous.
If you keep on introducing more and more characters, then you're doing War and Peace. So you got to be careful if you look at the 60, go for the 5 and then think it over.
Well, that's exactly. We're not going to go too deep with it through 5.
Just being optimistic.
But whenever I write something, and
you're being hungry,
I want to leave room. Like I said, again, I'm being realistic. We're doing, this is my fourth Kickstarter. Two copies of 2 issues of each title. So I'm still new at this. I'm not going to take anything for granted. I want to keep doing it, but I'm going to leave room in each of these stories. I want to make it a complete story arc where if this is all of the Olympian that anybody ever reads, they're going to walk away thinking, man, I wish we had more of the Olympian. But I'm also going to leave myself room to write more of the Olympian and to take the story in different directions after we finish this first arc.
Right.
I
If you
wanna-
have everything plotted out to an infinite point, you have no life and vitality to the story. You're just following an outline. You need to let yourself, and I mean that for both the writer and the artist and the colorist, and for the characters in the story, you need to allow them to breathe.
I want to take one more second and come back to this. One of the things that makes me very excited about being involved in this project and seeing this story come to life on the page is Dee's art. I think that the fact that you have this amazing artist doing the things that they're doing. I mean, this is a page you don't find in many comics today. This page is beautiful. This is on, I'm not spoiling anything. This is already on the Kickstarter page. But I read the text of this and I imagined what this would look like. And then I saw this page and the detail in this scene, the way that the panels are laid out with insets, the inset panel, the texture that's in pencil and ink. You are blessed to have Dee doing this work for you. For us.
You're not getting any arguments from me, Bob. Again, Dee is one of the best cartoonists and artists that I've come across. I was thrilled that she wanted to come on board and help me bring this to life. And I'm like, I did apologize, I think, for these pages. I had to promise there weren't any more, at least in this issue. I don't think I have any more directly planned, but I haven't fully scripted the last couple of the arc. So
well, here's the thing that I mean, like I said, I saw the script. I saw what was written on the page, and this goes beyond that. Like, a lesser artist would have given you, just the faces, just the objects in the room, not this level of wood grain detail on the pews that is just gorgeous.
Yeah, that's true.
But leave it up to the colorist.
Dee is a very gifted artist, and she knows that I'm a fan. So I can't contradict any of this, nor would I want to. But it isn't the first type of project that I think of when I think of Dee's work. So I'm 10 times more fascinated because, hey, what's this going to be like over the course of 5 issues?
Yeah.
What is this going to be like? That's interesting.
Bob, if I can interrupt while we're all singing Dee's praises right now.
I got one more, but go ahead.
Mikey, I was going to say, do you have the double page that you can show that I think is also up on the Kickstarter?
Oh, maybe let me check that.
So the one with Asterion and Vasilis in the corner.
Let me get there. See what we got. Oh, yeah, this one. Yeah. Okay. Is it this one? No, I don't think it's on the Kickstarter.
Well, scroll down a little bit.
Oh, this one.
There, right there.
Yep.
That the second one down. Yes. I don't know if you can get zoomed in, but the level of detail when I first saw that page, or those two, because that's a double page spread right there, and when she sent that over to me, I mean, again, I'm not a historian. I'm sure there are like that. That reminded me of George Perez cover work.
It does the same as me. It looks like it came out of Wonder Woman #1.
Actually, my first take was Jim Starlin.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not putting George down or Jim, but that was when I first saw that. I'm thinking, wow, that's like some Jim Starlin influence there. That's pretty cool.
I love Jim Starlin.
That's fantastic. No, it's good stuff. This is beautiful art. It's a beautiful drawn book. It's a wonderful story, and it's fascinating. It's captivating. It's exciting. It's heartwarming and harrowing. It's everything I love. I want to just before we're done singing Dee's praises, because I'm sure she's over here being completely red. But I did want you to know that, like, every once in a while, I'll just get a text from Mike with your cartoon of the day. Just like I'll just get a D fish cartoon on my phone. I just want you to know that he does
That's true.
read your stuff constantly.
That's really true. And what's amazing to me is that we haven't really embarrassed you until now. So my day is complete.
A lot of foundation on. Oh my God.
Yeah, we're scaring her away. She's not going to come back next time.
I'm so sorry, D. I don't want to embarrass you.
We'll
talk about something else.
I'm thrilled to be in any way affiliated with this project. I'm excited for it. We're going to keep talking about it for the next 3.5 weeks. But go ahead. What?
Who did the logo? I'm saying this because I'm going to.
That's also D.
Really?
Yeah, I've been
She also lettered the book
for about almost 30 years now.
Yeah, as I recall, I'm not surprised, but I am impressed.
Thank you.
I love the logo. I absolutely do too. It's fantastic, and the lettering is fantastic as well. You can't see the lettering, but it's there.
Well, no, it's invisible ink.
I can see.
I always lay the lettering out before I do anything, because that lets me know where I can put everything in the panel, where everyone needs to be in the panel, so you don't have those stupid crisscrossing, word balloons when people don't pay attention to that, or break the 180 rule for no reason whatsoever.
Right. Do you know that I was mentioning Harvey Kurtzman earlier? When Kurtzman was at EC doing Mad Comics and Two Fisted Tales and all the other stuff, he would give his artists, and we're talking about guys like Wally Wood and Al Williamson. He would give these artists lettered boards with little layout, not quite stick figures, something a little bit more expressive. And you'd think, like, who the hell would, in their right mind or wrong mind, would give Wally Wood notes on how to draw this and show him where he can't? I mean, other than our president, I can't think of anybody except Harvey Kurtzman. But it was magnificent, and every page was magnificent. So,
imagine that.
You're right. You're right. I'm sorry?
That's how you get awards named after you.
Yeah. Paul, you had mentioned earlier about the colorist.
Yeah, so the colorist is a gentleman named Ibrahim Aydin.
Mm-hmm.
I've never met him personally. He was actually somebody who I'd seen his work on another indie comic that I really liked, and I thought he did. It was not necessarily a similar comic, but a similar vibe that we wanted visually. And I thought he really hit the right notes with it for what we were looking for here. And again, I think he's just done a fantastic job with it. He, bold when it needs to be bold, subdued when it needs to be subdued. And he's a fantastic, invaluable member of the team, and I just really enjoy his work.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how he's going to pull some of these pages off, especially with.
I am too.
I have to apologize to him on some of these too, but
Sure. You there?
Oh, I'm still here.
All this.
Okay.
Well, I was afraid that you got torpedoed.
Oh, no torpedoes. There's women and children on this boat. I'm sorry, ship.
Yeah.
Hello, Titanic. Hello, couple of big movies. I saw one of them.
It was not a torpedo.
Yeah, I don't think we're in danger of any icebergs right now.
If you are, you got a real problem. Wow.
Yeah,
I did see a giant floppy-eared dog going towards the bridge. So.
Oh, boy.
yeah.
It's going to be icebergs with torpedoes.
Oh.
Yeah. So, the Olympian is funding on Kickstarter. If you don't know how to get there, go to Kickstarter, search the Olympian, it'll take you there. If you want to, go into the comments of this podcast, SquadCast, wherever you are, and you'll see a link for it. And click on that link. Go there, back this book. They're not asking for a lot, just enough to, get you a decent size thing. It's an appropriate pricing for what you get as a Kickstarter comic. There's great options in terms of getting both issue 1 and issue 2. If you missed issue 1, you need issue 1, and get issue 1 and issue 2. We have tiers for literally every budget here. Like I said, like you said, the digital start at $5.
Right. And that's fair. That's great.
And it goes up from there, and you can get a single comic if you want a single physical comic. You can get a copy of Dee's magnificent cover as well as our variant cover that we have. You can get all the different stuff added in. Like I say, and if there's any retailers around, we got stuff for you too.
That's right.
I do. So one before we go, I want to give you an opportunity to talk about something that I know is important to you, Paul. We've talked about it before. We talked about it when you had other things, but there's something on the page that's listed here. It says our pledge is that Acorn Comics will never knowingly use or work with anyone who knowingly uses generative AI. All of our comics are 100% by humans for humans.
Yes.
Why is that so important for you to state that explicitly?
Oh, first of all, speaking of explicit, was there something you needed to put up on the screen, Bob?
Oh, it's on there.
Oh, no. I mean,
okay, hang on. That's right. Okay, go ahead. Where'd we go? Okay, there you go. Go ahead.
There we go.
We've now entered.
Fuck AI. Fuck hard. Fuck it until you can't do it anymore and keep on fucking. Dream big. Look, this is something that I'm obviously very passionate about. First and foremost, I'm not going to claim that I know all the ins and outs of the environmental impact. I just know that it is a severe and strong environmental impact. But that's not the reason that I am as passionate about it as I am. It could be, but it's not. It's because generative AI is 100% stolen from artists without their consent and without compensation. And unless and until they can build one of these things and rectifying that, and that's not the end of the discussion to me, because you still have the issue of where is the soul in something when you're just putting in a string of words and letting a computer spit something out. Right. And when it comes to comics, we talked about this earlier with the process between Dee and I. Anything I write is going to be 1,000 times better because Dee sets her eyes on it and takes what I write and says, I think I get what you're saying, but let's expand it and make it look a little bit better. And I can do it better this way and get her perspective on it. And the collaboration is what makes it even better than it could possibly be alone. So you're going to get worse and worse things with AI. But the biggest issue right now is the theft and is the fact that it is stealing from actual artists, creative artists, and trying to put those folks out of business by stealing their work. And that's not okay. And anyone who tells you it's okay is lying to you. Or they're just a talentless hack who doesn't feel like they should have to pay for things. They're entitled and they just want to take shortcuts and go from there. So
then they're lying to themselves.
Oh yeah, especially when they call themselves artists.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not going to get a lot of sympathy for the AI folks in the comics community. I am very happy to say. I've never heard anybody defend it except for a practitioner thereof. And most people I know hate it like the plague. And if we didn't have other things to talk about, we'd be even meaner about AI. It is.
Yeah.
It is not just theft. It's an insult. It's an insult. You are not. Nobody is privileged in that way. Not Jack Leibowitz with Superman. Not you with Spider-Man. Doesn't matter. You're ripping it off.
Absolutely.
Well, with that being said, from real Mike, not AI Mike.
How do you think I got there?
I understand. Listen, I understand. We're gonna wrap this up, guys, because we Paul is on, like, literally he is on a ship, folks, and so he's on vacation and calling in so we can talk about the Olympian, and we appreciate that.
Paul, be careful about those edges. They're a bitch.
Make sure you don't go too close to the railing.
Yeah.
And also,
look, just sitting here for the last hour or so and feeling the very subtle rocking. I'm not sure I'm going to stand up for the rest of the night. And this is not a ship that rocks a whole lot. So,
well, give our best.
So we're rocking the ship.
It's you. Yep.
Yeah, we're rocking the ship.
Give our best to Constance and V, and we're gonna let you go. And D, we're gonna let you go as well. Thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to come back for issue 3. And if anything needs to happen between now and then, you guys are always welcome. This has been so much fun. We're so excited about the Olympian, and we'll talk to you soon.
You guys have a hell of a responsibility, because you, given your age, are influencing the next generation of newbies. And that is a wonderful responsibility. You're going to go to a convention 10 years from now, and somebody's going to talk about how they grew up looking at your stuff, and you're going to first go like, what? And then you're going to get it. So it's a good thing.
Well, thank you. Always thank you guys for having us, and I really appreciate it, and always wonderful to see you face to face, D, or face to young glowing white spot.
Face to porthole.
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks,
Paul.
guys.
We'll see you later.
Love it a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. And it's always fun. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it is. I've seen more than you have out there. It's really good. I like where it's going. It's one of the fun things that I look forward to. There's a ton of stuff. We talk about Kickstarters all the time. We have folks on. We talk about their new and independent things that they're creating. This is one of the ones. As I said earlier and disclosed earlier, I'm affiliated with this, but I am genuinely excited to be affiliated with it. It is it's a compelling story, and it's a fun story, and it's a story for pretty much everybody. So I like it a lot.
You see, that's the cool part about our gigs. It shows up in other fields of endeavor, but it's really the heart of where comics are today. You can do what makes you go, wow, that's fascinating. I want to get involved in that. So you can jump into those ponds and see things and do things that have never been done before, tell stories that have never been told before. And you do it by rote. You do it because that's how you are, how you communicate, how you see the world. So This is a good time for this.
Well, yeah, I totally agree. Besides the fact that we are, we're talking about this particular Kickstarter, I want to again remind people that we do have a show coming up next Tuesday. And it is going to be Dean Haspiel, Doug Latino, and Eli Schwab. They will be here. We're going to be talking about their new Kickstarter. I'm excited for it. It's something that I know Dean is very passionate about. And he actually couldn't even be at the show we had last Thursday because he was doing a Kickstarter. He was doing a different podcast about it because he's trying to promote his work.
Well, have you seen online the pictures of Dean standing in front of Jack Kirby's old apartment when he was a kid on the Lower East Side on Essex Street?
No, I haven't, but we'll talk about it.
It's magic. I mean, you look at that and you go, wow, that's the entire history of comics right there. That's great.
I'm excited about it. I'm excited for this Kickstarter. Thanks, people, for being here, for listening, and for being, being people who like comics and like to listen to us. So we're going to be back next Tuesday, the following Tuesday. We're going to talk about the new book from it's being published by Comics Lion. And it's called Real Life Comics Only in New York. So, there's so many people involved in it. We're talking about that next week. But in the meantime, the Olympian issue 2 is funding on Kickstarter. Go ahead and back that. And
I should point out,
please do.
That's it. We have a thing here where we really enjoy backing these fundraisers. They're not all from Kickstarter, although I think most of them have been. For all of the reasons why we just told you. It's an alternative. It is new. It is exciting. Keep this in mind. Right now, Disney's about to lay off 1,000 people.
They already started.
They've already started today, I think. And that includes Marvel and Marvel Studios. Doubtlessly, the same thing will happen when the Warner Brothers sale goes through, and DC will be faced with all of that. Okay, that's life. That's reality. It's also corporate America. You have to expect things like that from corporate America. We'll talk about this next week. But with the Kickstarters, with the independents, so-called independent publishers, people like Paul and Acorn Comics, that's our future.
I agree. All right, folks, we'll be here next Tuesday. You'll be here next Tuesday. We're going to talk to Dean. Go back this project, the Olympian, on Kickstarter from Acorn Comics, and have a great night and read more comics because they're good for you.
All right. Thanks, folks.
This has been a production of the Pop Culture Squad Network. PopCultureSquad.com. How do you nerd?